Hey, welcome to Live Your Own Fit podcast. Today we've got a special guest, and it is Dave McHenry from Modex, a product that I've been using for about a year. And its benefits are that it increases nitric oxide, which increases a lot of things, makes you perform longer and therefore less free radicals as a byproduct, so recovery is quicker. And the key ingredient, pycnogenol, is also one of the most powerful antioxidants you can get. So that vastly reduces the free radicals in your body. And all of this is part of the big health story that we always mention, that everything is connected. And so everything is connected. And Dave, thanks for connecting with us today.
Pleasure. Thanks for having us, Pete.
So tell us a little bit about the science behind Modex and pycnogenol, and then we'll just kind of get into some quick, how do people use it, the other benefits of it, backstory of the company, and your backstory, which is really interesting also.
Yeah, sure. Where to start? Look, I'll start with my backstory.
Sounds good.
That'll give a little bit of context to how I ended up with, developing Modex. So I did a food science degree many years ago, just with that whole mindset of, everyone's got to eat. So if all else fails, then I'll know a little bit about food and, I'll be able to survive this world. But, years went on and fell into, branding and understanding product and manufacturing. And then, and then partnered up with a Sydney-based company, Arbor Vitae Health and Wellbeing, who'd been working on this magnificent formula for about 20 years, and looking into specifically reducing inflammation in the body, which is kind of the precursor to a lot of disease these days. We're exposed to so many different foods and just toxins in our everyday lives that, it's very hard to control, doing a very low inflammation diet. So it was like, what's a formula we can produce to make it easier for people to keep inflammation down,
and do silly things like Ironman training
and do silly things like
stressful lives and working late and all of that.
Keep drinking beer and do what you need to do. Right? So they Arbor Vitae play in a space of joint health. And obviously there's some real benefits with this formula in sport. So hence the formation of Modex, and really focusing in on its ability to help athletes, and pycnogenol being the main ingredient. It's got three, main course of action, which is it's got a main active constituent called procyanidin. So that's a phenolic compound. It's part of the group of flavonoids, they're known to be very high anti-inflammatory and antioxidants. So that's the one key thing. So that's helping a lot of things in the body. So with recovery, keeping inflammation down. The second one is it helps generate hyaluronic acid. Not many people probably think about this one and its importance in the body, but its main function is to retain water, and it's found mostly in your joints. So like right within the cartilage. So this is super important to have a lot of this hanging around your joints, because the more of this you have, the more lubricated your joints are, and therefore, they're going to work a lot smoother.
Yeah, hydration in the cells is key of life. Yeah,
100%. I mean, if you don't have that hydration in your cells, then your cells aren't functioning properly. And then the third key property of pycnogenol, which is, as I said, the main ingredient in Modex, is its ability to produce nitric oxide. Now, not just any type of nitric oxide in the body, because you can produce it in all parts of your body, in your heart, your liver, but endothelial nitric oxide, which is where it's most important in your blood. So it's not actually a supplement of nitric oxide. It's aiding your body's natural ability. The same way age pig nodule aids your natural ability to produce hyaluronic acid. So this one, I think, is probably the most important when it comes to athletes. We naturally go through a cycle of producing nitric oxide when we start working out. Our bodies start,
that vasodilation.
Exactly.
So increasing the size of the blood vessels to carry more blood, more oxygen.
Correct. So when we start working out, our bodies are like, all right, we need more nutrients, we need more oxygens to our cells so that we can actually generate more energy. Now, there's a limiting agent always in any sort of biochemical reactions that go on in our body. That's why we eat food. So we eat foods to make sure we're fueling our bodies to ensure that these reactions can take place. And one of the things that's come out of the studies of pig nodule is they've learnt that it stimulates eNOS, which is the enzyme, endothelial nitric oxide synthase. So it is the enzyme that converts L-arginine to nitric oxide. So when our body goes through this natural process of producing nitric oxide, it gets to a point where it's like, we don't have any of this enzyme eNOS left. So therefore, we're going to start producing carbon dioxide. And that leads to then generating lactic acid and your body and your muscles starting to fatigue. So being able to aid that body's natural ability to produce more by stimulating more of this eNOS means we're extending that threshold of lactate buildup. We're extending anaerobic, aerobic threshold. So, and it means that therefore we're going to uptake more oxygen, more nutrients to our cells, which is uptaking more glucose. And therefore that whole cycle of producing ATP energy in our little power plants, the mitochondria in our cells, it means that that's extended. So it's, the way we would look at it and, our vision in sports science with this product is it's clean performance. It is clean performance enhancing supplement. So.
Yeah, you've touched on so many points that just get me buzzing. Basically, the word energy, I love the word energy. And the way that you said it just made me picture and visualize the energy is created in the muscle when we're working out. Like some people think, if I suck back a gel, I'm consuming energy. But nothing happens with energy until it's produced in the cell. And you touched on there as well how it's the fuel that we are needing in the cells, which is, and you didn't say it's calories we need in the cells, you said it's the fuel, the micronutrients, the oxygen and the minerals, the electrolytes, and all of these things are what benefit the efficient production of energy. And having those high levels of nitric oxide just improves that energy production at the site of where you are wanting to create more of it, and it does it more efficiently.
That's 100%. And I say to a lot of people, they always ask me, I'm taking Modex now, but I'm taking all these other supplements. And I said, well, you don't effectively you never have really needed any other supplements. If you've got a good diet, you'll get a lot out of your diet, right? But it's about making your body work more efficiently and effectively. And I think what's so powerful about this formula is pig nodule alone has these three main properties, as I discussed, like this anti-inflammatory, antioxidant benefit, the ability to generate hyaluronic acid as well. So that's going to help joint health and making you feel like you can move a lot better. And then this aiding nitric oxide. But then what we've done with Modex is we've teamed it up with other key ingredients, aloe vera being a potent vitamin C, vitamin E, papain enzyme, which acts as a compound to line the stomach. So goes in and lines the stomach to allow the pig nodule to pass through the small intestine super quick and get into the blood quickly. And, there's a little bit of salt in there and honey in there for sweetening. But essentially, this formula mimics blood, right? So it's got the same osmotic pressure. So as soon as it passes through that small intestine and meets with your blood cells, it's like, hey, we know each other. We can connect and we can get to work. And I think one of the things, coming from a food science background that I learnt very early on was eating so many different foods with each other has a massive effect on how they're carried through the body and how they can react in your body. And so we've taken all that hard work out of it with the Modex formula and said, we know how these ingredients react together. So they've got a synergistic effect, right? So eat your normal diet, right? You're going to get your proteins, you're going to get your fats, you're going to get your sugars out of your normal diet, and they are effectively fuels. But make sure your body is well lubricated and working efficiently. Your blood flow is working well. Your your free radicals are kept down. Your joint health's all good, so that when your fuel's in your body, you can actually utilize it properly.
Yeah, and Modex recommends taking it first thing in the morning before exercise, and I guess that is a precursor to, as you said, it gets easily across the intestinal wall into the blood, so it's giving your blood plasma a little bit of a boost as well. Which is what you want in the morning. Often people would recommend, you could just take like a pinch of salt and water, but as you said, it's got a bit of salt in it, it's got a touch of honey, so you're going to get that slight increase in blood volume, which is better than just having plain water in the morning. And then as you start to exercise, then it can kick in with its other benefits.
Correct. And it's a 100 ml dose of Modex. The pycnogenol in that is about 260 milligrams, probably one of the highest doses on the market of products. So, it's quite expensive for us to make this product, but we want to make sure we've made a very good product for people that works. But that will last up to 24 hours in the body. Unlike vitamins like C and E, which only last a few hours, pycnogenol will last up to 24 hours. And another amazing benefit, and there's clinical studies about this. And by the way, if anyone wants to see a lot of these clinical studies, they can jump onto our website. We have a section there under science, and you can navigate your way through all this.
Because it's been around for 20 years, the research on...
40.
Wow, yeah.
Pycnogenol, 40 years, yeah. But yeah, sorry, going back to what I was saying, pycnogenol also has an effect on vitamins. It's been shown to extend the life cycle of other antioxidants, vitamin C and E. So that's just another benefit. That's just, another study. But
so if you are taking other supplements, take it at the same time, or as you said, it lasts in the blood anyway.
Yeah.
So it may enhance with the other supplements that you're taking.
It may, yes.
Yeah, may, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in theory, like it is that. I was just chatting to another guy recently that has got an electrolyte. It's a concentrated seawater mineral, so it's got 70 trace minerals in it, as well as good levels of magnesium, potassium, and sodium. Yeah. And chatting to him, and his journey goes back sort of 20 years as well, researching this. And the more minerals and vitamins that you can take in a synergistic form, the more chance that they've got together to working well, as opposed to if, as you said, if you get it from diet, it's balanced. Whereas if you only ate, one day you only ate magnesium supplement and the other day you only ate a potassium or sodium supplement, you're not going to get the same benefit of the way that the gut bacteria uses those minerals, as the way that the body uses those minerals, because everything does work together. This is billions of years of evolution of using just literally the earth that we walk on has created our bodies up from, the ground up. So it makes sense that if we have these things at the same time in our body, then we are going to get more benefit.
Yeah, and I think that's where, 20 years of formulating Modex, where that work went into it was understanding what other ingredients enabled pycnogenol to have the best possible chance to get to work in the best possible way. And I think that's where we believe we've got a standout product containing pycnogenol on the market. Like there's a lot of tablet forms and, but, very little liquid-based ones. And I think obviously being in a liquid form allows it to, get into the bloodstream a lot quicker alone there, but actually mimicking blood and having an isotonic formulation is another benefit. And then, there's other, as I said, I try to explain as simplistic as possible, like, papain enzyme plays a significant role here in lining the stomach, because pycnogenol is something foreign to our body. So, sorry.
Being a vasodilator, even for people who are not athletes, it can help lower blood pressure. Is there clinical studies on the lowering of blood pressure in non-athletes?
Yeah, there is. There's there is a lot of it. Look, there's 98% of studies on pine bark extract in relation to pycnogenol as the brand. I mean, pycnogenol is a branded pine bark extract, but purely because it's a unique way of the way they extract it from the bark. So it's patent by Hofag Research. So a lot of the research is done on pycnogenol, and there is a lot of clinical trials out there showing that it does stabilize, blood glucose levels, that reduces blood pressure, things like that. So,
yeah, and pycnogenol is the product that is used in Modex.
Correct.
Yeah. Just to clarify for everyone.
We did, and this is the thing, we tested other pine bark extracts at the time, because pycnogenol is the gold standard. It's the most expensive, and often, more times than not, a lot of the other pine bark extracts didn't even turn out to be pine bark extracts at all. So, and there were a lot of them were coming from China. So, pycnogenol is grown in a sustainable forest in only one part of the southwestern France, So let's clarify again for people, the exercise type people. The benefits of Modex, as straight away you might get a benefit that it's easier to warm up. So straight away maybe your CO2 tolerance or your oxygen delivery and exchange feels easier. You may not feel as short of breath like in that early stage of warming up. It may be a shorter time frame for you. Yeah. Is that fair to say? Yeah. I think you'll because it's extending that anaerobic aerobic threshold. You'll probably see an improvement in VO2 max. So
where your body's really the levels of CO2 are creeping up and up and up as you train, as you exercise harder and harder.
Yeah.
But the benefit of the CO2 creeping up is that it exchanges with oxygen, and so then you get more oxygen into the cells, which is what they want to produce more energy, and then more CO2 as the byproduct. Yeah. So it's this cycle of in and out. And if you can, as you said, get the oxygen in more freely, faster, then you can exchange the CO2 faster and stay away from that lactic threshold at a little bit higher energy output.
Yeah, it's gonna, it's also going to enable that glucose uptake a lot quicker. And when you producing ATP energy, there's sort of 3 cycles that it goes through in producing ATP. Like there's the initial conversion of glucose during glycolysis, and then as that I think it's pyruvate that works too, and then as that enters into the mitochondria, there's another 2. I think it's like the citric acid cycle that it goes through, and then there's a 3rd cycle I can't remember, but those 2 cycles then go on to produce more ATP energy. But it's that glucose molecule that you need at the start. So to be able to and going back at the very start, because I spoke about eNOS, that enzyme, without even eNOS, then you're not even able to convert more L-arginine to nitric oxide. So therefore, you're going to stop the whole vasodilation process, and then you never get that glucose uptake. So
and in my point of view, which is very aerobically fat burning biased, is that obviously both are awesome. You're always using glucose, and hopefully you're always using some fat as well, but more levels, higher efficiency in getting the oxygen in and out means that you're going to be able to stay in fat burning for longer as well,
Correct.
while still utilizing glucose as needed, because it's like there's a few pathways, but there's less pathways using glucose than there is breaking down your fat. But it's so it allows you to stay in the aerobic zone longer also. So as much as it keeps you from lactic threshold longer, the next step down, it also benefits in keeping you out of in fat burning zone longer also.
For sure. Well, I think what's important to note here is also that, you know, just because you go and for those who just want to, like, you know, smash glucose gels and things like that, just because you're smashing glucose gels, it doesn't mean your body's going to use it all, right? Because the one thing that we're talking about that distinguishes Modex and what it does here is it's the limiting agent here is this small little enzyme.
Yeah, it's not glucose, and it's not.
It's none of that, right? So if as soon as you stop producing enos, right, that vasodilation, that natural vasodilation process that your body goes through to deliver more oxygen and nutrients to your muscle cells, it starts to deplete, and that's when you start building up that lactic acid.
Yeah, right? And more oxidative stress.
No matter how much glucose you have, as soon as you've hit that tipping point of not enough enos, that limiting agent that's shut off, then your glucose is going elsewhere. It's not being used anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going back to that efficiency, right? It's going back to we're here to aid your body's natural ability of what it can already do. And clinical trials have shown that pycnogenol has been able to stimulate enos.
Yeah. And a big part of having those other elements like enos means that even at a low grade, like even for people, you know, like my mum has autoimmune and I've had autoimmune symptoms, but she's had, you know, some serious conditions for a while. And I've seen it that as soon as she exercises even at a moderate level, because of that slight increase in demand for energy, the oxidative stress builds up so quick and then it compounds. So as oxidative stress compounds, the ability to get oxygen in reduces and reduces and reduces to the point where even just going for a walk, you're going to have so much oxidative stress compounded that, you know, you're going to be inhibited in any energy production, and your mitochondria are going to feel pretty crappy for, you know, days or, you know, even longer sometimes. So what's your experience there with autoimmune and that level of oxidative stress?
Yeah, look, I mean, I've been diagnosed with an autoimmune like several years ago. Before I jump to that, I just want to make a point about that oxidative stress. I think this is, again, one of the most unique things about pycnogenol is because it's got sort of three main properties. We've talked about its ability to produce nitric oxide, but then one of the important things to note with nitric oxide is it's an unstable molecule. So it doesn't last very long once it is produced. And because pycnogenol has this ability to reduce free radicals and toxins in the body, when we're exercising, working out, we are, again, there's chemical reactions going on. So we're producing byproducts. So if these byproducts come into contact with nitric oxide, they can knock them over a lot quicker. Now, because pycnogenol is getting rid of the toxins at the same time, it's actually extending the life cycle of nitric oxide molecules as well. So that's just another added benefit there. So, but going on to autoimmune, sorry, I just sidetracked there.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, years ago, what am I now? Yeah, so probably 14 years ago, you know, I had my knee just completely blow up, just out of nowhere. So, you know, got fluid drains, you know, gave me a cortisone injection. I was like, all right. And then 6 years later, another episode. So I was like, went and spoke to a rheumatologist. They're like, you've got a gene, HLA-B27, it's linked to ankylosing spondylitis. You know, that's the diagnosis. It's basically autoimmune. I was like, all right. So second time, fluid drains, another cortisone, and then another 6 years went on. And my knee blew up again. And that was around the same time that I started trying this Modex formula because I was going to engage in potentially producing this brand for the sports market. So I just started taking 30 mil a day. It blew up a little bit more. I was like, okay, maybe it's having the adverse effect because it's autoimmune. It's stimulating the immune system a little bit. I kept on it after talking to the guys, and then I have not run more than this in my whole life. Like, it's my all the inflammation out of my knee's gone. I think the only issue I have with my knee now is the damage that was caused by the inflammation in the past. It sounds like Velcro tearing, but in terms of movement in my knee, and swelling and inflammation, completely gone. And I can easily, comfortably run. I'm not a big runner, but I'm comfortably running 40 or 50 Ks a week. So,
and that's where the product originally started with Arbor Vitae, the parent company. I mean, it's been around a bit longer in another form particularly for joint health and decreasing pain and inflammation.
Market for about 6 years, and they've just finished a clinical trial on it for osteoarthritis to show how it can decrease pain there. So, and we'll look to do clinical trials with Modex. Actually just met with La Trobe University on yesterday, and they got fantastic facilities, like state-of-the-art facilities there. And so we, preliminary discussions there to talk about how we can, put the formula to test, and, in a variety of different ways, and, proving some of these things that we've spoken about in the formula base as opposed to pycnogenol. So
and in the formula, and also I guess maybe more at an athletic level as well. So what would be, how do you use it? Like, what would be the maximal and minimal dosage for people?
So look, I've designed like what a 4-week program effectively for Modex to make it super easy for people, for new people to get on board. Effectively what that is taking 30 mils a day. This is to get it into your system, start dealing with any unwanted inflammation in your body, give you a bit of a clean out essentially. Some people do experience a little bit of loose bowels in the first 24 hours, but it's all for the good. It's just getting rid of those toxins. Then I say choose 2 to 3 times a week, take 100 mil 1 to 4 hours before a high intensity or strenuous exercise. And that's the maximum dose you would need in a day, which is giving you about 260 milligrams of pycnogenol. So,
and I've got to say to people that don't be put off by a couple of people having loose bowels, because in 30 mil, like, they must have had something really strange going on. I have taken more than 100 mil. We did a photo shoot the other week, and I had a couple of bottles on me, a little bottle. So I think I drank a couple of bottles, and like, I've never had any bowel reaction whatsoever. So it's a very minor amount of people. That's not a caution this might happen. It's more of a, you're special if that happens to you sort of thing.
Look, it is extremely uncommon, but I'm not afraid to sort of mention it. Just because I think what it's indicating to you is it's getting to work in your body. It's sorting it out. So
and so after the sort of 4 weeks of 30 mil, then use it. Maybe what you could just take your 100 mil on your big training days and sort of skip it during the week, or a couple of times during the week.
Look, I think consistency is best with this thing. It's it's not a supplement that's going out to cure anything or to sort of like get you to a point and then you're on your own. It's obviously, as we spoke about, it's providing a bit of a catalyst for certain things going on in your body. It's that catalyst to generate hyaluronic acid. It's that catalyst to stimulate enos. And then it's got that ability to constantly reduce inflammation. So I think consistency is best. And I just take around 30 mil daily now. And, if I go on a big run or I'm doing some sort of high intensity class or whatever, then I'll do the 100 mil. So that 4-week program that we've got up on our website is purely designed to just get you into that routine. And then you can continue taking it in the same manner.
As we said,
Train. Yeah.
As we said, even if, it's a good habit breaker too. Let's say you took the 30 mil every morning for a month and took that instead of your early morning tea or coffee.
Correct.
Think of the difference in hydration, just hydration alone, that you're getting kind of a boost in your blood plasma straight away. And then you kind of might break your morning coffee addiction a little bit at the same time. At least maybe minimize it, save it till later in the day or something. But yeah, just to break up some routines there, that sounds like another really good benefit of using it.
Well, we've got a lot of users now that have supplemented it for coffee. I think they realise that, the adverse effects of caffeine.
Yeah. Are you not having caffeine at the moment then?
Yeah, I reduced the intake massively. So
yeah, I've recently also cut it out a couple of weeks ago and I feel much, much better. So we'll all have a little...
Yeah, I think, I keep it weekends now because I find that, with caffeine, it's a stimulant, right? So it also acts as a diuretic. So as soon as you have it, you're on the toilet, it's causing all sorts of problems in your bowels. So
you're having coffee instead of an electrolyte or a Modex.
Food as well.
And food, absolutely.
Yeah, so...
There's no nutrients. As much as Dave Asprey, Bulletproof Guy, wants to tell you how amazing and good it is for you, there's not really much good in it, in the coffee. It's doing more harm than good generally.
Yeah.
But if you like it and you feel good on it, go for it. But hey, if you haven't tried it without, we're just suggesting,
I think definitely, as I said, a lot of our Modex users have replaced coffee. Some like that stimulant still, which is completely fine. But
it's hard to get rid of that placebo effect of coffee for sure as well.
Sure.
That was the only reason I was having it. And I think you could almost compare the two a little bit in that, there's clinical trials that say caffeine will help, which, caffeine tablet, you don't have to have it as coffee in a race. The advantages of caffeine are there at the right time when you need it. But at the same time, it might be something that some people are going to feel good and no clinical trial will be able to tell you how it's going to make you personally feel. And this could be said for every food supplement thing that we consume ever. The clinical trials are what they are, but they haven't been done on you. So the best way is to take it, do your 1 month trial, use a couple of bigger doses for some of your bigger training days and see how you personally would go with it.
Yep, totally. And even when we get to start doing more clinical trials with Modex, like I think, as you said, like, because it can't be done on you as a person, you're relying on data from, its benefits from other people. But our main reason to be doing it would more to be, proving the course of action and proving the way pignogenol gets to work in the body via our formula, as opposed to pignogenol in other products or clinical trials that have been done on it over the last 40 years. So,
yeah, exciting. And it's an Australian company.
Australian made. The only ingredient we import is the one that comes from overseas, and that is the pignogenol. So made here in Melbourne. It's
really cool. Yeah, we can, and we just jump on the website, order it. There's a discount code for 20% off, which is PJ Mode 20. So anyone can jump on. But if you follow them on Instagram, they've got a sale and a promotion like every month or so. There seems to be something rolling around with a different deal going on.
Yeah. Look, we like to keep, the users active. I think the one thing that we've probably introduced more recently that can benefit you as an ongoing user is we've got a program called My Mode. This allows you to earn points for your purchases. If you want to be an ongoing user, you can refer friends and get them on the program, and they'll get some benefits and you'll get some benefits. And and I think, we have plans to sort of extend that program into the future as well, and hopefully start providing something a little bit more than just the product and, workshops and things like that as well. So
yeah, that'll be exciting. And as your clinical trials get into play and underway, I'm sure you'll have plenty of willing participants in Melbourne that would want to put their hands up and sit in a lab and drink Modex.
We might even have to get you down Black Heat and put you to the test with some of the stuff. So
yeah.
incredible down there. Like, they've got heat chambers and all sorts of things. So
yeah, I'd probably annoy them with too many questions about physiology stuff that I don't understand, which is super basic to them.
We might be able to use you as a guinea pig to
get
you to become a world champ again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. 2022, that'll be 10 years since the last win there. So we'll see. And maybe Kona will be back on by 2022 as well.
Yeah, well, I hope so. Yeah.
I mean, there's a chance it's going to be on this year, but it's just certainly still going to be weird with different quarantines and all that sort of stuff going on.
It's probably not going to be back to its original self yet. So
yeah, but hopefully it keeps growing. And I certainly know though that in the industry though, like in your industry, the market that you're marketing to, that hasn't diminished. Everyone's still training. Everyone's still loving the lifestyle, and it's the lifestyle that they all love, of training, of finding out more about themselves, whether it be about their health and performance or whether it be about their limits, their mental characteristics of how hard they can push themselves, or how relaxed they can be, as I try and teach my guys, be really, really relaxed when you go training. Be present, whatever it is. It's an awesome space still, even without that many events going around.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think, that's been one of the other great things about Modex for a lot of these athletes too. We get a lot of people come to us after a week after using it, just saying, look, it's just it's boosted my sense of well-being dramatically. I'm waking up with more energy. I'm being more present. I'm able to train, but then spend time with my kids in the afternoon, things like that. Just little things that I've noticed in my own personal life as well. I've got 2 young kids under 4, and my wife works 3 days a week, and sometimes you need that little bit of extra energy to get you through the day, as well as doing your training. So
yeah, I mean, if you do something that alleviates knee pain, then it's doing something everywhere, because everything is connected. And as we started out at the start of the podcast, everything is connected. So if it's fixing knee pain, or if it's getting nitric oxide somewhere more efficiently, that means it's doing something good in every cell of your body. Yeah. Thanks. So anything else, Dave, that you've got a current interest in that you just want to mention or talk about as we wrap up?
Current interest, God. I've been so entrenched in this of late. So
what's the research? What's the current buzz research that you're interested in around it then?
Look, I think we're still going to go. My conversations with Latrobe on Monday was heading in the direction of doing more research around the nitric oxide. So, and just going a little bit deeper onto that. And also, the guy that approached me there, his background is muscle physiology. So he actually wants to go do a lot of research on this and find out its effect on repairing muscle. So, that's something that I've started to go and do a little bit of research on, pycnogenol alone, and find out what studies are out there already on that. But yeah, that'll be something that we're going to look a little deeper into.
And is there any obvious clinical studies that came out with some really big benefits around people with really poor circulation, such as, type 2 diabetics that are, long way down the line of poor circulation?
Yeah, there's one on our website that's around forearm blood flow. So if you jump on, I can actually send you a link if you want to post the link on the podcast. So there's some stuff on that. There's clinical studies on reducing muscle cramps. There's clinical studies on improving triathlon time by 10%. There's, improving 2-mile run times. And these are all based on sort of 4 to 6 week supplementation of pycnogenol.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
it's amazing what you can do when you get your mitochondria more efficient at producing energy, which is ATP. Yeah. Exciting. Really cool. I think that's been awesome chat. I've learned plenty. It's solidified more in my mind and made me more excited about impact of it. And I'm certainly going to keep having it. And yeah, thanks so much, Dave, for coming on and chatting to us. It's been, unreal. I love chatting about this stuff. I could do it all day, but I better let you go.
That's exciting. Yeah. Thanks heaps for your time, Pete. And we've been thrilled to have you as, sort of a part of the brand and the growth of the brand. And it's, I just we put something on Instagram today, is like we're up to just over 2,500 customers now. And I think we're on over 6,000 orders. So we've got a lot of people coming back, and the community's growing and more people are hearing about it. And we just want people to feel good. We want people to perform good, and we want them to do it naturally. That's ultimately what we're here to do. So
and that's the tag: do more naturally.
Every day.
Every day. I should know it by now. I had to recite it in that clip that we did the other week. I only had one line, and it took me a few times to get it. But
part of that clip soon, Pete. So
that'll be exciting. Yeah, that was a fun photo shoot. That's going to look really nice when we see that soon. All right. And anyone, just go to Modex, follow them on Instagram, and Modex Natural on Instagram, and you'll find out where they are. So again, thanks so much, Dave. Great to chat with you. Really appreciate it.
Cheers, mate. Bye.